Okay, so I'm making this video to cover up a situation that I've noticed is happening very often when we do our 2v2. When we do our 2v2 exercise, what we are really trying to test is common scenarios that happen during a normal match. Now I've put the yellow players against the red players. So let's imagine and play some of the common scenarios that are seen during our training and how to handle it a little bit better. Hopefully at the end you will understand what I mean by putting yourself at 45 degrees compared to your teammate. Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed that happens over time is that let's imagine that 11 catches the ball or I throw it more towards the red team. Number 9 has a tendency of following almost in a straight line. So 11 and 9 just move forward like this. The other players come over onto the player with a ball. The player with the ball doesn't know what to do and he tries and passes simply to his other player. Now this kind of pass is very, very easy to intercept because it's the only real option that number 11 has. Okay, and so there's very high chance that the ball is going to be lost. Not only that, number 9 and 11 are actually at the same level in the field, and number 1 can go and score if he's got a good shot. Okay. Now we want to avoid these scenarios, and so let's see what other options do we have when this happens. Let's imagine again the number 11 got the ball. And number 9 is trying to put himself in a position that can support a better outcome. So number 9 has a few options. One of them is definitely take a more defensive approach and still keep himself within 45 degrees. Okay, but covering. So then following number 11 but at a certain distance, and so when number 11 is in trouble he can just pass the ball back to number 9. Okay, that's definitely one option. Now in this case number 11 could decide to actually go, for example, on the left hand side, and number 9 will follow at 45 degrees. Okay, number 11 may decide to go and try and play it towards the end of a field, and once again number 11 will be number 9 will keep at 45 degrees. If you notice, there's a pattern here. Every time we reach the edge of a field, we want to have someone which we call top of box. This is the box, and we want someone at the top of this box. Okay, so that we have an option to pass towards the middle. This pattern happens all the time. So let's see a second option between number 9 and number 11. So number 11 catches the ball, and number 9 takes a more offensive approach in this case. Number 9 can decide to actually move forward. As number 10 and number 1 are trying to attack number 11. Number 11 can then decide to pass the ball through and try. I mean, it may succeed or it may not succeed to pass the ball to number 9 so that he can score. That's definitely one option. Okay, obviously this is a more offensive approach. If number 10 or number 11 manage to steal the ball, then they have free access to the goal. Okay, no one is remained back in defense. Okay, so this was scenario number 2. Well, your teammate takes a more offensive approach. So far we've seen 3 scenarios effectively. 1, never to use, to go up at the same level. The second scenario is number 11 gets the ball and number 9 follows at a 45 degrees angle, okay, but never at the same level. In this way, number 11 does the play of a game, and number 9 acts as a supporting player. And the other scenario is that number 9 actually tries and cut through, and he becomes the offensive player, and number 11 is a defensive player in this case, and just passes the ball and plays with making sure that number 9 has the highest chance to score. Okay, now there is another play which is slightly better, and I've tried to do some exercises on this, but it may not sound like the most common thing to come up with, so I'm going to describe it very easily. So let's imagine number 11 got the ball once again. Red players are leading, and what we want to get is a situation where number 11 is in a position to change the game and pass the ball to number 9 while at the same time disorienting the other players. So number 1 and number 10 would definitely try and go towards number 11. Now number 9 has another option. Not only can take a defensive approach or an offensive one, it can also just swap with number 11. So if number 11 moves slightly towards the right hand side, number 9 can just stay behind and then try and accelerate on the other end. Again, it's a similar play as the offensive one, but it is a bit more disorienting because number 10 and 1 for a split second can't see where number 9 is going. So it's a bit disorienting, and so number 11 can quickly pass the ball down. Again, these are the 3 most common approaches. When we get to the end of the field and near the goal, we always end up in a situation where either the ball is in the middle and you just need to shoot, okay? Like we haven't discussed it before, but it's obvious, or the ball is on one of the sides. Let's imagine, let's cover the situation when the ball lands, for example, on the left-hand side. Again, number 11 should never be at the same level, okay? There's no point, it's easy to intercept the ball, but always a 45 degrees angle. So if number 9 is at the end of the field, number 11 is roughly at top of box. Now the box here is very small, so forgive me if it's not exactly a top of box. And so what happened is number 9 is blocked here and doesn't know what to do. You can always pass the ball to number 11. Now what happens next? Number 11 can do a series of things. It can try and hold the ball and let number 9 cut across, again 45 degrees, and pass the ball again. In this case, expecting number 10 and number 1 to be disoriented so he can shoot. That's one option. Or another option is number 11 wants to play the ball and change the game, so moving it from the left-hand side to the right-hand side directly. And this is okay. Now what happens here, and this is really important, number 9 needs to come and cover the top of box. Again, 45 degrees. You want to always give an option in this case, so that if number 11 is in a situation where he's bringing all the defenses on this side, he can still kick the ball back to number 9. So just to recap, these are really simple approaches, but in reality, all we need to remember is that when number 9 or number 11 catches the ball, the other player has to support it either behind or ahead, okay? And when it comes to playing ahead, you can play on the same side, or we can do a swap, just passing behind, okay? Every time we pass the ball, it's important to pass it on a 45 degrees angle. Passing the ball in the middle is not straight on a straight line is not a good idea. Okay, it's an easy way to lose it, to actually let the your opponents go and score. And the same pattern applies when we are playing towards the bottom of the field. So if a ball is in the middle, you want to have an option down the sides. If a ball is on the sides, you want to have an option top of box, always. If there's a movement, so that a player who's on top of box goes on the side, you want to actually have someone else that takes his place as top of box. Sometimes you may want to have a forward to just cut through, and that's good as well. There's no point, by the way, of cutting through and stopping in the middle because you're just in the way of your other players trying to shoot, okay? So if you cut through, you go on the other side. Again, same result. You have you have 2 players, one at the bottom and one in the top of box. Obviously, if you have more players, you end up having someone else on this side as well. But 2 players in attack is more than enough. And that's it.